Hello everyone, welcome back to As Real As I Can Be. My name is KHANYISA and still keeping it as real as I can keep it this week. Shout out to my girlfriend for these dreads, she really hooked it up. I feel good, I smell good, I think I look good. But I wanted to come back here this week again. So one of the things that I get asked a lot by the people who slide in my DMs is wanting to hear about my traveling experiences as a lesbian. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to give you some advice today. So for everyone who has asked, everyone who wants to travel but you are scared to travel because of your sexuality, here we go. I have decided to do this for you, and I hope you are tuning in and you are listening and this is super helpful to you. But before I start giving all this advice, let me be honest and say this, because I keep it real. When I started traveling, I was in the closet, okay? I was just out there in skirts and dresses. I'm just going to have pictures of what I looked like before popping up. And I literally took my closet from South Africa to South Korea. And this is also something that I write about in my book, Traveling World Black and Lesbian. You can also get that. I'll put a link for it on Amazon.com where you can read about these experiences, right? And so I started traveling super closeted, and it only took me coming out and just seeing the vast difference of traveling as a straight woman versus traveling as a gay woman. And that's why I wanted to do this video, and I want you to know that your fear is legit. I don't want to minimize it because it is a legit fear to have. So towards the end of that year, I came out in Korea. I watched all seasons of the L Word. I decided I was Shane, so I started traveling the world as Shane. If you have not seen the L Word, you better get on it. Watch from the old L Word and then make your way up to the new one, the L Word Generation X, which I'm really excited for the next season. Also pause, subscribe to my channel and comment. Let me know if you've seen the L Word. If you, who were you? Because Shane was my coming out story. Shane was that character where I was walking around the clubs in Korea and being like, I'm Shane, you know? And yeah, old Kanye, I've grown. And then I started navigating the world in this truth of who I really was, and honestly it was so different. And so I wanted to give you advice. As all things, I try to keep it as real as I can be, also making sure that I am giving you the right information, writing things down. It really helps. So I'm going to be just looking down a little bit just to make sure that I hit all the points that I have for you guys today. So the first one in my advice for gay people, don't want to just limit it to lesbians, gay people, trans people, anyone who feels afraid to travel in their truth, this is for you. So the first advice that I have for you is do research. Take it from somebody who did not do research. Take it from me. Do all the research. Read up on all the countries that you want to go to. Read up especially on their laws on homosexuality. I've heard about this couple who was deported once from a country. They were a married lesbian couple. They get to customs. They are an interracial couple. They changed their last name, and they were deported because in that country it was illegal to be gay. So I mean, that was probably the best thing that could have happened to them, instead of them ending up in a prison somewhere in a foreign country, which you do not want to have happen to you. So do all the research. And in also doing all the research, I do want to encourage you. There are countries where homosexuality is illegal, but it is not as policed. Some it's not policed at all. Like when I was in Singapore and I saw all the lesbians in Singapore, I found out after seeing just how visible people were in Singapore with their sexuality, then I found out that it was illegal to be gay in Singapore, and I was just like, but how? Like I had this joke, it's also in my book, another plugin, that they make lesbians in Singapore. there are factories just distributed around Singapore where they make Asian lesbians, and then they send them out to all parts of Asia in their lesbian glory because they look really, really good. And so I was shocked to find that out. Also in the Philippines, I lived in the Philippines as well. Legally you can't be gay in the Philippines, but when I lived there, and I lived there with my ex-partner, and we were open with our relationship. And the thing is, in these countries, they know so many gay people that if you are a homophobe, you are hating your family members, so it doesn't really make sense to them, especially in the Philippines. And I do also want to point out, though, that some of these countries are also working on changing those laws. Yes, it's going to take time, but the work is being done. So, and there's also so many blogs that you can find online in terms of which countries. I'll do one as well. I'll probably write one and put it out next week, so be on the lookout for that. Countries where it is illegal, but you don't have to walk around being so scared. But what is really important for you is that you do that research, okay? Do the research, do the work. Number 2 is don't be a martyr. Don't be that person who shows up in the country and being like, I'm going to be coming into this country where it's super illegal to be gay, and I'm going to make out with a partner in public. That doesn't help anybody. I read about this couple who went to the Middle East, and they were caught making out in a public bus. Not even caught, they were just seen. They were sitting there in the Middle East making out with each other on a public bus. You don't want to be that person. First of all, you know it's illegal to be gay in the Middle East. You know that they kill gay people in the Middle East. We tend to want to make our lives political statements. And we are in this place now in society where our sexuality is being politicized. We judge each other on whether we are accepting of gay people or not, you know. Let society do that. You don't go out there and make your life a political statement. You are a person. Live, enjoy living. Don't put yourself in situations where you know you're going to get hurt, where you know that if you do get hurt, if you do end up in a prison in the Middle East, it's going to be really, really hard for your family to find you and help you. So please do not, I repeat, do not be a martyr. Do not make your life a political statement. And then my next one for you is be careful. And this, the careful part of traveling is also really not just for lesbians or gay people. It is also for female travelers, especially female travelers. Be very careful. You are new to these countries. You don't want to put yourself in situations where you will be harmed. I know that it is really frustrating, right? It's frustrating that we have to live our lives in such high alert, but we do. And until things change, we do have to live our lives in high alert. So be careful. As frustrating as it is, keep being careful. And if you're still staying with me, do subscribe to my channel. Do hit that bell so that you can get notifications when I put out a video for you. And do comment on this if you have any questions. Also, if you're an LGBTQ traveler and you think that there's something that I'm missing, do comment, and let's all help each other in that way. My next point about traveling is be respectful. Again, this goes for all the travelers. I used to live in very touristy countries, Philippines, Malaysia, Costa Rica. I traveled through Central America, and I get so infuriated seeing tourists walk around with a sense of entitlement when they are guests in someone else's home. When you are a traveler, you are a guest in that person's home. You are a guest in that country. You do not get to be like, but this is how we do it at home. This is not your home. And so, for example, in Costa Rica, when I lived there, it was a few years ago, they had a law that was saying that PDA, public displays of affection, were illegal, but it went across board. It wasn't about gay or straight or whatever. It was for everyone. Just PDA, illegal. Respect that. And then the next one that I found the hard way was in Malaysia, all women have to cover. Respect that. Cover. I know you're a tourist and I know you want to relax, especially if you are hanging out with the local community, which for me, I haven't traveled if I'm only hanging out with tourists. Traveling for me is hanging out with the local community. I want to eat what they are eating. I want to watch what they are watching. I want them to take me to those small little places where they eat. I want to be taken to those small places that they have reserved for themselves and they don't bring tourists there. That's how I like to travel. And if you're somebody who travels like that as well, please be respectful. Okay? So that's the fourth one. Let's circle back real quick before I do my last one. Number 1, do your research. Number 2, don't be a martyr. Number 3, be careful. Number 4, be respectful. And the last advice that I can give you, and if you're watching then you're like, but I'm not in the LGBTQ community or whatever, this one's for you to travel. When the world opens and you have the means to travel. You know, when you travel, it is something that is so much better than material possessions. Because it is experiences, it is learning different languages, it is knowing what life feels like for these different people. It is just seeing the beauty of Mother Nature in ways that you don't get to see if you don't travel. So travel, put yourself out there, and if you're afraid, be afraid and do it anyway. And if you really need help, I just want to share this real quick before we end this video. I'm starting my life coaching business in the next 2 weeks. I'm just working on it right now, making sure it looks amazing. And part of the 4 pillars of my life coaching is going to be traveling. And when the world opens, remember this, because I want you to write to me, email me, check out my website. Let me be your travel coach and we can do this together, especially those first few trips until you become a seasoned traveler. You need help with those, so we can go through those together. That's all the advice that I have for you. And like I said, do subscribe, do comment, and I really hope that this is encouraging and it helps you it makes you want to travel. It makes me, my thing is that it is our world too. We get to see it, we get to partake in it, we get to enjoy it. We don't get to be limited by our sexuality, by our race, by our sex, by our gender. Anything that you feel is a limitation for you in your wanting of traveling, it's your world to go and enjoy it. And that's where I'm gonna end it today. And do subscribe, like I said. Follow me on Instagram as well. I'm on there dropping some truth, some motivation, pictures of my dog Oliver, pictures of my girlfriend Indy. I'm just doing it all. And I will see you guys next week. If you have any questions, DM me. Do slide in those DMs. Don't tell her I said that. She's going to see this video, but I mean that in the best way of sliding in the DMs. I love you guys. Bye.